Hello, this is Felix from GMWolf and welcome back to GM Basics. Today we will be focusing on DS lists. So what a DS list is a way to structure some data in a list. So just so you know, the DS stands for data structure, and the list means that you want to use it as a list. So you can imagine a list as having a bunch of positions. So you have position 0, position 1, 2, 3, etc. And it goes on for quite a while. And over here you have your values. So you may want to store number 3, for example, then maybe number 5. You could even put a string in, for example, hi, like so, and then the number 2, like this, and you can go on like that, adding more and more numbers. Now, the way that a DS list is used is, first of all, you have to create it. So to create your DS list, you can use a function called ds underscore list underscore create. Now, this takes absolutely no arguments. You may think that you may need to give the size or something like that, but it actually handles everything by itself. However, the DS list will return a value, and that value is the ID, the identification number of that list. And it's quite important that you store it, otherwise you will never be able to use that list. So you can do, for example, list is equal to DS list create. So once you have your list created, you'll obviously want to add some values to it. If you don't add any values, it's kind of useless. So the way you do that is by using a function called ds list underscore add. And this one will take in two arguments. The first being the ID of the list, and the second being the value you want to put in. So as you can see, the ID will be used when you add values, which is what you'll be doing most of the time along with reading. So you might be using it, like ds underscore list underscore add, and then here you have your list, which you created over here with your variable thing, and maybe a value of 8, for example. And you may think, if you're used to arrays and stuff, that you didn't really say what position or anything, but that's fine because actually it will handle everything for you. So if you imagine having your list over here, let's draw it over here, and so say you have an empty list. I'm gonna represent the list like this, with your IDs, well, your positions on the top and your values on the bottom. And you have a brand new DS list create, nothing in there. So if you add your first value, it will automatically add the position starting at 0 and then whatever number you put in, so 8. And next time you do it, it will actually automatically move on to the next bit. So it will add the first position, or second position, but number 1, and add whatever number you put in, so maybe you put 2, and etc, etc. And every time it will actually move on and add in the value without overwriting the previous values. That really is quite useful. So I'm going to continue on adding some random values in here, just because we'll need them later for demonstration. And number 5, maybe you'll put in number 12. So as you can see, you can put any numbers you want in here. You could as well put some strings, or you could put the ID of an object, or even of another data structure, which maybe you want to put a map or something in there. I don't know. Anyway, once you have created your list and you have a bunch of different functions which adds your numbers in there, you may want to have the actual data of your list, and the function you use for this is called ds list find value, and this will take in a few arguments as well. The first being the ID as usual, and the second being the position. So the way you would use this, say you add a bunch of values and you want to find the third value along, you would go ds underscore list underscore find underscore value, you would put your list ID, which you stored inside this variable over here. So you can just put list down. Or if you had like mushrooms written here, you would write down mushrooms over here as well. But and you would then have to put in the position. So let's say you want the third value along, so that's position number 2. Remember, you start at 0. You put 2 here. And this will return a value as usual. So maybe you want to say val3 is equal to. So value number 3 is equal to. And so here you would do the same thing, obviously, because you need to store it inside a variable. So as you can see, very easy to use, very quick to use, especially since you don't have to keep track of the position your list is in. If you're used to arrays, you will know that it's quite tricky sometimes because you have a bunch of different numbers and you don't really know where you're at. You know, you have to keep adding one to a number, etc. Now, lists do become a lot more useful. Let me bring up a new paint up here, if I can. If it lets me do that, it does not let me do that. So let me just create a new window or a new blank paper. And what you will want to do, the reason why DS lists are so useful is because everything is taken care of for you. So say you want to take out a value, say you're actually tracking let's say the number of players logged into a game or something similar, and all of a sudden a player logs out, or an enemy that gets killed or something like that, you may want to take him out of the list. So for this you use something, another function again called ds list underscore delete, and this will also take in a few arguments once again. So you get the ID of your of the list you created, and the position. So let's say you have yourself a nice list. So you have position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let me make some straight lines in between. And maybe here's number 1, maybe 4, 6, 28, minus 2, and 0.5. Let me put a nice line through here. And all of a sudden, player number 3 logs out, and he, I don't know, had number 28 in there. I don't know why. What will happen is this number will just go away, and then the next number will be filled in here. So you have minus 2 here, and then it will be removed. And the next number will come in, and this one will be removed. Now, normally, working with arrays, you'll have to do this all manually, and it is actually quite hard to get right the first time. I know I struggle doing systems like that quite a few times because simply because there's quite a lot of variables at play, and GameMaker not being the most powerful of languages, you often find some very inefficient systems. However, the DS list handles everything for you. It will just skew everything down, and you don't have to worry about anything. It handles everything perfectly. Now, apart from handling data pretty well just for storing, etc., it also allows you to do a few things like copy it using a DSList copy, etc. But a nice one that I find very, very useful, this is quite hard to implement yourself most of the time, is DSList, and it's called shuffle. And I believe it is spelled like so, and it takes in just the ID. And what this will do is jumble up all of your values inside. So maybe let's take a random color. Maybe this one will swap with this one, and this one will go over here. This one will go back there, and this one over. Let me see, and I think that's it. Yes. So as you can see, it will just jumble up your numbers in a totally random way. And this is very useful. For example, if you're making a card game, you will have your stack of cards, you added all your cards in, and then you just want to shuffle the cards. You can just call this neat little function right here, and afterwards you can just check the position of 0, 1, 2, 3 to get your cards out. You can then delete them, for example, in order to put them on top of someone else's card, or pack of card, etc. So now that we looked at how they work and what the different functions are and what exactly they are, we can go into GameMaker and look at what we are going to do. So as an example, I'm just going to firstly show a very simple implementation. So I created a new object here, and I'm going to add the inside the create event a new code. So let's first of all create the list. So we're going to store it inside a variable called list. So list equals ds underscore list underscore create and semicolon. So this first line creates the list, sorry, and stores it inside the list variable. Now let's say we want to add a few numbers to it. So ds underscore list underscore add, and we can add. First of all, we have to say what list it is, and then we want to add a value. So let's say, for example, 8. Now we can copy this, for example, and as you can see, you can just paste it as many times as you want. You don't have to change anything else but the value. So maybe we'll store 81, maybe 21 here, 46 here, and 27 here. Now, once you have your bunch of values, what you can do is simply read something inside the position of your list. Sorry. So, for example, you can use ds list find value. As you can see, I use the tooltip like so a lot because you can quickly find the thing you want. I often do spelling mistakes as well, more like typos, so I really like using this feature. Definitely recommend you getting used to it. So the list, and let's say the position, this is 0, 1, 2, let's go 2, this should give us 21, and as you can see I can just take this again and read it in any order I like. So let's do number 1 and this one number 4, for example. And I didn't do anything with it, but I can use show underscore message string, and this we've used in previous tutorials in order to show the results of our functions. And I did this wrong somehow. Wait. Remove this here, copy this over here, this here and here, and hopefully you understand the show message string part. If not, I probably covered it in another one of my tutorials, so you can check that out. So now that I created the object and put some code in, let's place it right over here and run the game. So what we should see is first of all the output of the second, which is 21, then the fourth. Oops, let me move out all the way. Sorry, and the fourth one, which will be 27, and then the first one, which is 81. So 21, 27, and 81, and then the game just goes on. So this is quite a simple way of doing it. Now, actually, there are quite a few other functions available. For example, ds list underscore. Let's see. We can use ds list size if I find it somewhere. ds size over here. List. And this will return the size of the list, so how many things have been put inside it. So if I put this like so, the size of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it should return the number 5. So let me just comment these ones out over here and see what happens and see if it does give us 5. Now it should see number 5 because there are 5 items inside our list. Let's try something else. Before doing this, remember this gave us, let me annotate this quickly, this is number 0, remember, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. This will give us first give us 21, then 27, and then 81. Now if I call ds list underscore shuffle just before, shuffle, and the ID is list, we should get a completely different order because we shuffled the list before. And as you can see, we now have 46, 27, 81, and 5. So it is also a nice way of getting random numbers from a list of predetermined numbers without having the same number appearing twice. because you're just shuffling your number and then asking for a few of those numbers. And of course, you're not asking, if I put 2 and 2 here, it'll be twice the same one. So it is quite a useful system. So I hope you learned a lot about what DS lists are, and that you'll put them to good use making more awesome games I know you guys are probably making right now. So again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for any of the videos you would like to see, or if you have any questions about lists or anything, please put a comment down below. I always look at them and answer them. I try my best to do so. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, where we'll probably look at another data structure. And again, thanks for watching.